This story is about love, hate, loss, gain, mystery. The events that take place are they are so unexpected. Nobody sees it coming. So this is about four friends. They met back in university. Their names are Zala, Naledi, Erica, and Tandi. Now, Tandi comes from a very traditional Zulu background. Her family are very big on culture and tradition and the practices. And Tandi got herself or went into the psychology field. She studied to be a psychologist. She's studying to be a psychologist. And that's so true to her character and the type of person she is. Zala comes from Ethiopia. She was born and bred there, and her family moved to South Africa because of work. And of course, she came along and she's built herself a life here, and she happens to be studying medicine. Naledi, also born in SA, is in the law field. Now, she's that no-nonsense person. She's got a very strong, very assertive personality, but is still very loving and humble and nurturing. And then you've got Erica, born in Cape Town, mixed lady who studied business, finished her qualification, finished up with it, and has now opened a boutique chocolate store, which has been her dream for a very long time. Now, Zala and Tandi were friends. They had met and they got really, really close. And it just so happens the one day they both went to a bakery not too far from Ray's, and they ran into Naledi and Erica. And for some reason, they all just started chatting, they hit it off, and they all became really, really, really good friends. Now, Zala is dating a guy who happens to be studying medicine too, and it works perfectly. They understand each other, the work hours, they have the same passion. Naledi, nope, not dating. She's focused on her law degree, and she understands that it takes a lot of time and energy and focus, and that's where she is. Erica recently, well, not recently, she went through a breakup and recently started, getting her feet wet. She's out there going on dates, just trying to find herself again. And Tandi has made herself some amazing man from Mozambique, and she is properly in love, okay? She is in love. And so the four of them are talking like, guys, we really need to get away. We've been wanting to do some sort of getaway, just go and get our hair and let our hair down, get our feet wet. Like, let's just do the damn thing. And Tandi suggests, why don't we just go to Mozambique? It's not too far away. We can do a road trip. It's got that tropical vibe. It really would feel like we're not in this country. It's got the tropical vibe, great food, great people. We can road trip it so it's not too far. Why don't we just go to Mozambique? So they decide that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. So the day to leave for Mozambique comes, and true to, road trip vibes with your girlfriends, for any of you who've been on a road trip with your friends, it's so much fun. Like, part of the adventure is the trip, from the pit stops, the eating, all those snacks, laughing, chatting, and then the playlist, those music playlists that go all the way down basement status, and they are laughing and singing and doing the damn thing in the car. Eventually they arrive in Maputo, and Tandi's boyfriend is waiting for them at a convenience store so that he can escort them to their Airbnb and make sure that they settle in well. So of course, when they get there, Tandi is so excited to see her man. It's kisses and hugs and all of that. And they're just as happy because her man, whose name is Paul, is such a nice guy. They've met him before. He has that really great personality. They see how happy he makes their friend, and they're just happy to see him too and happy to be in his country. And he's like, come, let's go, let's make our way to the Airbnb. And they get there, they check in, they love it. It is so spacious, so luxurious. It's everything they wanted, and plus they've got a view of the ocean, beach view. So they get there, they laze around, kind of relax a bit because it's been a bit of a journey, and they decide, no guys, tonight we are going hard, we are going to enjoy ourselves, we're here, let's just go. So for dinner they make their way to Southern Sun Hotel because of course they want a beachfront dinner where they can just bask in the atmosphere and the vibe. And then they make their way to South Beach, which is a local lounge slash club slash restaurant, so that they can dance passada and drink cocktails and shots and have an amazing time and take in that atmosphere and vibe. Now Naledi and Erica are particularly all about this because remember, they're single. And although Naledi understands that, look, right now I'm doing my law degree, there's no time for that. At the same time, it's like, listen, I'm here to have fun. Whatever happens, let it happen. And so they're enjoying their night, and boy, do they have some to drink. They drink and they dance and they do all of it. And Paul happened to come with a few of his friends too. So it was just like, everybody come and have fun. And they did. And so the next day they had to keep it cute and mellow because, you know, when that drank is within the drank, which is within that drank, and you're like, nope, can't do much today. So they go to the beach for a braai, relaxation, to laze around and to just nurture themselves and nurse their little hangovers because wow. And so they go to the beach and they relax and they eat seafood and chicken and all of that good stuff. And Zala FaceTimes her boyfriend to let him know that she's having such a good time and she can't wait to see him, and that next time when they plan a vacay or vacay, they need to come here. It's amazing. Naledi and Erica are kikiing by themselves as well, enjoying the view, and Utandi's all over her man, guys. She hasn't seen him in a minute. Her schedule has been busy. His schedule has been busy. So it's just a lot, and they're happy to be spending time together. So they spend the day there relaxing and taking in the sun, and then they decide that, listen, let's just keep it cute, because tomorrow Paul was like, listen, I want us to go across the lagoon. We're going to take a boat across the lagoon to the other island, and let's go there and have some more seafood. If you guys think this is amazing, I have to take you to this particular restaurant. And they agree. So they say, guys, let's just not do anything crazy tonight. Let's have an early evening so that we can be up early enough to come here, catch a boat and go across. And that was the deal. And so they did. They go back to the Airbnb. Paul happens to be there hanging out a bit. Now, Tandi, between the alcohol and the food, her stomach is now upset. It's properly upset. It's just not responding the way she thought it would. And she is using the bathroom very regularly. And at that time, Paul was still at the Airbnb hanging out, and he could see his baby is sick. She's sick, she's not coping, and he decides he's going to spend the night so that he can take care of her. And the other ladies are so grateful because they're not really in the position, with all the alcohol they had the day before, they're not really in that position to be taking care of her. And so they go to bed, and Utandi is back and forth in the toilet, and Paul is just really taking care of her. The next day she wakes up and she's not feeling any better, and so she says to the other ladies, listen, Paul's going to take you guys over. I'm going to stay here and relax. And they were like, Tandi, no. And she was like, no. We didn't come to Mozambique to sit around and nurse whatever it is I'm having. I'm going to take this medication that she had just so that my stomach can settle. I need a bit of rest and I'll be fine later on. Let's all go for dinner, or tomorrow we'll do something. It's nothing serious, but I just want it to pass through my system. And they keep on asking her, she's sure? And she's like, absolutely, guys. If I wasn't sure, I wouldn't have suggested it. Paul has said he's more than happy to take you guys across. He'll go with you ladies. So please just go and enjoy. And reluctantly, they agree. They agree because they can see Tandi's not having any of it, but they also want to explore. Like, they really do want to have a good time. This is their vacation too. And so at about 10:30 in the morning, Paul goes with Naledi, Zala, and Erica, and they leave. Now, another reason why Tandi felt so comfortable is that the cleaner was going to be coming. The helper was going to be coming to the house. So at least she could give the lady a bit of an indication of what needs to be done, or, you know, make sure that everything goes well. But also, it's that thing of, at least somebody's coming here. I'm not going to be completely alone. And so they go, and the lady comes in at about 11:15 in the morning. There's a lot of calling back and forth to check that Tandi's doing well. And she keeps on saying, no, she's fine. They must just enjoy themselves and all of that. Now, the auntie comes in, the lady who's cleaning. She comes in, she cleans, and going for one, she leaves. She leaves the apartment. Well, the Airbnb. Then she makes her way back at about 2:30. She comes back in, and Utandi's not there. Utandi's not there, but it's okay. She's happy. She does whatever she needs to do. She was bringing a 5 liter of water for the dispenser in the kitchen, and she does a quick look around to make sure that everything she had to clean up, she's cleaned up. And she notices that there was an ashtray with some cigarettes still there, so she cleaned that out. And she happened to notice a piece of paper that was a bit scrunched up. It was scrunched up but kind of open on the floor in Tandi's room. So she picks that up, she throws all of that away, she makes sure everything's cool. Then she leaves. At about 5, everybody comes back. They come back in, and as soon as they come in, our lady's already shouting for Tandi, like, Tandi, babes, we're back. And they're all laughing, and oh my gosh, it was so amazing. And Tandi's just not responding. She's not responding. And so they walk through the house, and Naledi's like, guys, Tandi's not here. And they're like, what do you mean Tandi's not here? And they start looking around, and Utandi is not there. She's not there. And so there's a bit of panic in the air, but they decide, okay, guys, let's not panic. Let's look for her. At this point, Paul is also a bit like, where could she be? And they look around, and they try and call her phone, and they keep trying to call her phone until Zala says, guys, Tandi's phone is here. And Tandi's phone is between the pillows on her bed in her bedroom. And now Erica is just not feeling good about this. She becomes very teary-eyed. She's a very sensitive, soft-spoken sweetheart. And she is really feeling like, I don't like this, and tears in her eyes. And Paul is like, I'm going to go and look for Tandi. You guys stay here. And he leaves abruptly. They're now like, what the freak is going on? They wait for an hour to see if Tandi comes back. She doesn't. So they decide, let's just go and walk. Or let's walk. Let's go to all the local stores close by to see if she may have gone there, or if she is there, the restaurants. Let's just walk. And so they grab their belongings and they walk. And they walk. And they walk. And they go from store to store to store to store. No Tandi. They make their way back to the Airbnb in case Tandi comes back, and there's nothing. And now it's properly getting late, well within the evening. And Una lady's like, we have to call her brother. If we're not going to call her parents, at least let's call her brother and let them know what's going on. This is not something we can keep in. And so they call her brother, Utulani. And Tulani suggests that, guys, I can come there sometime tomorrow. Why don't you guys wake up in the morning and go to the police station if there is still no sign of Tandi? Now, he's panicked, but he's trying to keep it together. And he makes it clear, I'm not going to wake my parents up. I will go to them tomorrow and let them know that you guys can't find Tandi if that's still the case. So they try their best to fall asleep. There's a lot of tossing and turning, but eventually they make their way to the police station in the morning. They go there and they file a missing person report. And because of the language barrier and the fact that there hasn't been that much time from when she disappeared, they're not really interested in what these ladies have to say. I mean, they can't even speak Portuguese. It's all just English speaking, and the whole thing is just like, okay, your friend's missing, we got it, we'll see what we can do. And they leave, they're not feeling good, and with that thing in their minds and their hearts, like, guys, these people are not going to help us, we've got to figure this out. So they make their way back to their Airbnb again, just in case Tandi pitches, and they get there and she's not there. So Naledi decides to call Paul and say, Paul, still she's not here, we're freaking out. Have you heard from her? Have you seen her? And he says no. And she's like, well, we're getting in a car and we're going to go and look for her. And he's like, you guys, please just keep calm and let me handle this. And she's like, Paul, our friend is missing, we can't just let you. And he was like, just trust me, let me handle this. And she's already like, and before she could say anything, he hangs up. And she's not feeling good about that conversation, but she keeps quiet. And she goes to the other ladies and she says, I think we just need to get in the Uber and go and look for Tandi. Let's get in the Uber and let's drive. Zala then comes up with the idea, but before we get in the Uber, why don't we call the host, the Airbnb host, ask her to come with the helper to the house, explain to her what's happened, and maybe we can get an indication of what was going down yesterday. And so they decide, they call the host and she says, okay, I'll come to the house. She's an English speaking woman. I'll come to the house. I'll bring the house help with the helper. And yes, let's sort this out. So they arrive at the Airbnb and they start asking the host questions to ask the helper, and she's translating. And from what the helper says, she tells them, I gotcha. Tandi was here, she was fine, she was in the lounge so that I could clean the bedrooms properly. She was laying around. I didn't notice anything funny. I cleaned up. I left going for 12 or just after 12 or 1, and I made my way back in at about 2. So she gives them kind of a rough, of her schedule and how things went on. And they're just like, but what was her demeanor? Did she look okay? Did she look worried? Did she look... And she was like, no, she was fine. She was fine. She didn't even look sick. She was fine. She was fine. They thank the host and they decide, guys, let's get in the Uber and go and look. So the host leaves, they lock up and they get in the Uber and they go from store to restaurant to nail salons, anywhere they can think Tandi would go. Wherever they're driving and they see something that could stand out, they ask the driver to stop and they go in to ask, and they use their phones as a reference, like, have you seen this lady? And they're saying no, 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 and they keep on driving. While they're in the Uber, now lady says, guys, I'm just going to say it, the conversation I had with Paul before I left was very uncomfortable. Yesterday, I didn't like the fact that he left so abruptly after Tandi went missing. I don't like the fact that he just left us. I feel he should have come with us to the police station this morning so that we could have gotten further. But the thing that's really triggering me is how he told me that we just need to leave it alone. He'll handle it. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not feeling good about it. I'm not liking it. The energy, the vibe, I don't like this. It's really giving me some sort of feeling. And they were just saying to her, now lady, try to just calm down. Let's now not start suspecting and, finger point, like, let's just find our friend. Just try and calm down. And she's sitting there shaking her head in the back seat like, nope, I know what I heard. I know the energy I was feeling, and I'll keep quiet because I know you guys need us to be calm and level-headed, but I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. So they go from shop to shop to shop to restaurant to this to that to this. Now, the more they drive, the further away from where they stay they go. In fact, they're now moving to leaving this particular town. They're about to enter a whole different town. They've been driving for a minute. they have been driving and driving, and they realize, wait a minute, we're about to enter another town, guys. Could she have like, is this even possible? How? Why? What? Like, how? They keep going. They keep going. As they're about to enter this other town, the second last restaurant, convenience store, they say to the Uber driver, stop, before we turn back, let's just go right to the end or to the beginning. And they ask him to stop, they're going to rush in. And so they go in together and they ask around. And then they go to the gentleman standing behind the counter. Have you seen her? And they show her a picture. And he says, yes, I saw her yesterday. I saw this lady yesterday. And they were like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? What do you mean? How was she? What was going on? Please, what's going on? And again, because of the language barrier, he was trying to explain and they weren't quite understanding it. And they were like, do you have a camera? Do you have a surveillance that we can see? And he's like, come, I'll show you. And they, again, are not feeling comfortable. Everything at this point is feeling suspicious and airy, and they're very hesitant to go with him. And he's saying, come, and he's taking Erica by the hand and saying, come. And that lady's like, guys, just be careful. Just be very aware and alert. But because it's the three of them, they decide, let's go together. If anything happens, at least we're together. At least we can protect each other. But we need to find our friend. And so reluctantly, they go with him. And they go to this room at the back where the monitor for the surveillance is. And they're looking at the screen, and this guy is going through the footage. And these seconds feel like minutes, which feel like minutes on minutes on minutes and minutes. And their hearts are just racing, and they're feeling sick and anxious and all of that. They're just not feeling good about this, and they're watching this monitor, and they're watching it, and they are watching it, and they're watching it, and they're watching it. Because remember, he said he saw her, so they know any minute now they're about to see their friend on the screen, and they're hoping with all of them that she's okay. And whatever he said he saw, like, please God, can she just be okay? Can she be okay? And Zala screams, stop! And none of them can believe what they are seeing on this monitor. Their hearts drop. Naledi immediately takes out her camera and starts recording the monitor screen. And they're standing there watching in disbelief.